Do you keep dating the same person with a different face? If you feel stuck in a cycle of unhealthy dating patterns, the tips I'm going to share are going to help you first identify those patterns and then break them so you can attract in a healthier relationship. Step one is to recognize the signs of unhealthy dating patterns. And what are those signs? Well, they can be any type of abuse. So it could be verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. Any person who is talking down to you, who is making your feelings not matter, is unhealthy. Or somebody who is dishonest. A person who lies, who cheats, obviously that's an unhealthy dating pattern. Controlling behavior, that is a big one where we don't always realize because we think somebody might be taking care of us, looking out for the good of who we are, for our well-being, but in reality, they're just being controlling. The next sign is avoidance. Somebody who is an avoidant, who avoids intimacy, who anytime you get close, they move farther apart. These are really big signs of unhealthy dating patterns. And the last sign is any kind of codependent behavior where you're making the other person's needs more important than yours, or vice versa, where you really are so enmeshed that you don't have your own existence. Step two is to figure out where those patterns came from. We in coaching look at the family blueprint. Where did you come from? How were you raised? Because that has a big effect on the partners that you choose. So if you grew up in a home where there was emotional abuse or control or avoidance or codependency or dishonesty, you're probably going to keep attracting that until you break those patterns internally through coaching or therapy. These patterns feel familiar because they are. Familiars comes from the root family. What felt familiar to you is what you unconsciously attract. These patterns also come from a feeling of, I'm not worthy of anything better. And I went around with that unconscious feeling for many years, that there is nothing better, that I am not worthy of the relationship that I really want. And so let me settle for the relationship that isn't working. Step three is to heal the wounds of your past. We talked about the dating patterns originating from a lot of family wounds. And so if you have those wounds, it's really important to do that internal work to heal whatever wounds are there. Many of us carry shame from our past, shame from our families, shame from past relationships. So we want to work through any feelings of shame or rejection or any kind of traumatic experiences that have affected us and how we have chosen our partners. We don't have to heal fully. In fact, we can't heal fully, I believe, without being in relationship, because relationships actually bring out these traumas in us. They bring out those feelings that we may be able to have under control in other parts of our lives. And so if you are feeling any kind of trauma and you're doing the work, please don't be afraid to be in a relationship, because that's where the healing really gets completed and worked on, because it will come up. Number four, learn healthy relationship skills. Some of those skills, and I teach this in my coaching practice, are to improve your communication. The communication skills that we have are usually lacking because we learn them from our families or from people who don't know how to communicate well or don't know how to argue well in a kind way. Instead of pointing out somebody's faults and shaming them, we need to learn not to stuff our emotions, but to express them on a regular basis, early and often. We also need to learn how to regulate our emotions. This is so key when we know, like, certain things are going to bring up things from our past, and they're going to have us be reactive. So when we can learn to self-soothe, to regulate our emotions, we will have healthier relationships. And the third skill that is so important is boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. This is why in my coaching practice, I focus on communication and boundaries. To me, they are everything. Once we know what we value, who we are, what we need to protect those things with boundaries by saying, that doesn't work for me. Can I tell you what works better? That's just one example of a boundary. Or no, that is really not okay. Boundaries, be comfortable stating how you feel about things, because otherwise you're going to keep attracting more of the same that you attracted in the past. Number 5, get really picky about the right things. We tend to overlook the good things and be drawn to people who are not good for us. So be picky about somebody's character, about the values that you share, about lifestyle similarities, because you don't want to be with somebody whose lifestyle is completely different from yours. It'll be very hard to be in relationship. And look for somebody whose worldview is similar. And that means the way they see religion, God, politics, any of the big ones. That's going to have a big impact on your relationship. And step number 6 is be kind to yourself and the people you date. And what does that mean? It means take care of your needs first. We tend to put everybody else first. And so one way to be kind to yourself is to ask yourself, does this work for me? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I eating well when I'm in a relationship or dating? Am I ending a date before I'm totally exhausted? These are our needs, and we need to really be vigilant about taking care of them. So as we move forward, we need to continue to process emotions, and we need to practice self-care. We need to eat healthy, we need to exercise, and we need to have a life outside of relationships. Many of us focus so much on the other person that we give up the things that are most important to us. Having an outside life, outside interests, outside goals, these are what makes you interesting. And so be vigilant about your life, about building a life that you love, because those people who have these wonderful lives where they're pursuing the things that they love, they are able to maintain who they are in a relationship, which creates a healthy relationship. It does take time to change unhealthy dating patterns. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself as you make small changes. Maybe improve your communication skills a little bit. Set a boundary today with somebody. It doesn't have to be in dating. It could be with anybody. And these changes are going to eventually help you break the cycle of unhealthy relationships and help you attract in your person. If you are stuck in a cycle of unhealthy relationships, I invite you to join me in my coaching practice. If you're really ready to stop and you want support, because it's hard to do this alone, just go to lastfirstdate.com/application, fill out an application, and we'll get on a free call. I will let you know what areas of opportunity I see for you and whether or not we can work together and what that would look like. And I'll see you soon.